Some people think the car was the first great invention for getting around. They are wrong. It was the motorcycle. A glorious machine with two wheels and an engine. It all started a very long time ago. Before proper cars, before traffic jams, before everything. Imagine a bicycle. Now imagine strapping a very noisy, very smoky steam engine to it. That was the beginning. Men with magnificent mustaches and a complete disregard for safety decided pedaling was too much effort. They were heroes. In my book. They wanted power. They wanted speed. And they weren't afraid of a few explosions along the way. The very first contraptions were, well, they were terrifying. Take the Michaud-Perrot steam velocipede from 1867. It was basically a bicycle powered by steam. It probably went as fast as a brisk walk, and it probably set your trousers on fire. But it was a start. It was the moment someone said, I can do better than my own legs. This wasn't about getting from A to B, this was about the thrill of it. It was about creating something brilliant, something noisy, and something a little bit dangerous. These early pioneers weren't just building transport, they were building excitement with bits of metal and steam. Then the Germans got involved. And when Germans get involved with engineering, things get serious. In 1885, Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach created something called the Reitwagen, or riding car. It had a wooden frame, wooden wheels, and a tiny internal combustion engine. It was the first proper petrol-powered motorcycle. It wasn't fast, it wasn't comfortable, it looked like a medieval torture device, but it worked. It was the blueprint, the ancestor of every brilliant superbike we have today. This wasn't just a machine, it was a prophecy on two wheels. From that point on, the idea caught fire. Literally, in some cases. People all over the world started bolting engines to bicycle frames. In America, a company called Indian started in 1901. Then, a year later, another little outfit you might have heard of. Harley Davidson. They weren't building sophisticated machines. They were building simple, tough, loud bikes for people who wanted to feel the wind. This was the birth of the motorcycle as we know it. It was no longer a science experiment. It was becoming a real, usable, and utterly brilliant way to travel. The age of the iron horse had truly begun. The early days were all about making it work. The next few decades were about making it better. And faster. Much, much faster. Engines got bigger. They went from single-cylinder thumpers to V-twins that sounded like thunder. The bikes themselves started to look less like bicycles with an engine attached. They got proper frames, better suspension, so your teeth wouldn't fall out, and brakes that actually had a chance of stopping you. Companies like Triumph and Norton in Britain started making some absolutely fantastic machines. They were beautiful, fast, and a bit leaky. It was all part of the charm. The post-war era was a golden age. Soldiers came home and wanted excitement. The motorcycle gave it to them. Bikes became more reliable. The engineering improved dramatically. Overhead valve engines became common, giving bikes more power and more speed. The British were kings for a while. A Triumph Bonneville from the 1960s was the coolest thing on the road. It was a machine that looked right, sounded right, and went like the clappers. It was the kind of bike you'd use to escape from a prisoner of war camp, if you see what I mean. It was pure, unadulterated, mechanical genius. Then, the Japanese arrived, and they changed everything. In the late 1960s, Honda introduced the CB750. It was a revelation. It had 4 cylinders, an electric starter, a disc brake, and it didn't leak oil all over your driveway. It was astonishing. The British bike industry, bless them, just couldn't keep up. The Japanese bikes were faster, more reliable, and cheaper. They brought motorcycling to the masses. It was a knockout blow. Suddenly, you could buy a superbike that started every time and could hit incredible speeds without shaking itself to pieces. It was a technical revolution. This Japanese invasion sparked an arms race, a speed war. Kawasaki, Suzuki, Yamaha, they all joined in. Bikes got more and more powerful. We saw the birth of the modern superbike. Aerodynamic fairings became standard. Frames were made from lightweight aluminum. Engines screamed to impossibly high revs. We went from the gentle thud-thud of an old V-twin to the demonic shriek of a 200-horsepower inline-4. The technology was mind-bending. The speed was ludicrous. The journey from that first wooden Reitwagen to a modern leader bike is one of the greatest stories in engineering history. A motorcycle has always been more than just a machine. It's an attitude. It's a statement. After the Second World War, this really took hold. Young people didn't want to be like their parents. They wanted to be different. They saw the motorcycle as an escape. It was a ticket to freedom. You could get on your bike and just go. No destination needed. Just the open road, the sound of the engine, and the wind in your face. It was the ultimate expression of individuality. It was a two-wheel declaration of independence from a boring, predictable life. This image was cemented in popular culture. Think of Marlon Brando in The Wild One. He wasn't just riding a motorcycle, he was the motorcycle. The black leather jacket, the moody attitude, the rumbling Triumph Thunderbird. He created an icon. He made the motorcycle look cool, dangerous, and rebellious. Suddenly, every teenager wanted a bike and a leather jacket. It terrified parents, which of course made it even more appealing. The motorcycle became the official transport of the rebel. It was a symbol for anyone who didn't want to play by the rules. It was brilliant. Then came the 1960s and movies like Easy Rider. This took the idea of freedom to a whole new level. Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper on their chopped Harley-Davidsons weren't just going for a ride. They were searching for America. They were searching for themselves. The motorcycle was their companion on a spiritual journey. It represented a break from society, a rejection of the mainstream. It was about living life on your own terms. The film's soundtrack, the stunning landscapes, and those incredible choppers created a legend that lasts to this day. This spirit lives on. Motorcycle clubs, rallies, and communities all over the world are built on this foundation. It's a tribe. Whether you ride a Harley, a Ducati, or a Honda, you are part of something. You share a common bond. It's the thrill of the ride, the camaraderie, the shared passion for these amazing machines. It's a culture that transcends age, background, and everything else. It's not just a hobby. For many, it's a way of life. The motorcycle isn't just a way to get around, it's a way to be. And that is why it is so much more than just a car with two fewer wheels. So, where do we go from here? The world of the motorcycle is changing, and it's changing fast. For over a century, the heart of a bike has been the internal combustion engine, that glorious, noisy, fire-breathing thing. But now, there's a new kid on the block. Electricity. Yes, electric motorcycles. I know. It sounds quiet. It sounds boring. Where's the noise? Where's the vibration? Where's the soul? But you can't deny the performance. The acceleration is savage. Instant torque. It's like being fired from a cannon. It's a completely different kind of thrill. Companies like Zero and Livewire are building electric bikes that are seriously quick. They look sharp, they handle brilliantly, and they are getting better all the time. The biggest challenges are range and charging time. Nobody wants to stop for a 3-hour cup of tea every 100 miles. But the technology is improving at a staggering pace. Batteries are getting lighter and more powerful. Charging is getting faster. The day is coming when an electric bike will be able to cross a continent just as easily as a petrol one. It's inevitable. And honestly, a silent blast through a beautiful landscape does have its appeal. But it's not just about electricity. Motorcycles are getting smarter, ridiculously smart. We now have traction control that stops you from spinning the back wheel. We have cornering ABS that stops you from crashing if you brake too hard mid-corner. We have electronic suspension that adjusts itself in milliseconds. Some bikes even have radar. They can see the car in front and adjust your cruise control speed. These are things that were science fiction a decade ago. It's all designed to make riding safer and easier. Though some might say it takes a bit of the challenge away. What does the future hold? I predict we will see even more clever technology. Bikes that talk to each other to avoid collisions. Augmented reality helmets that display navigation and warnings right in front of your eyes. Maybe even self-balancing bikes that are impossible to tip over. The possibilities are endless. But one thing will never change. The feeling of being out on the open road on two wheels in control of your own destiny. Whether it's powered by petrol or lightning, the spirit of the motorcycle will endure. It's too brilliant, too exciting, and too important to ever disappear. It is, and always will be, the best way to travel. Period.